Howdy chaps and welcome back. You might recognise we're not in the workshop and this is not an XW behind me. This is in fact the Bushwrecked XA, owned by Peter Anderson, found by DJ, roof put on by me, and it has just recently been sandblasted at Blastworks down in Lonsdale. Great guys, highly recommend. And today we're going to put the doors back on and the guards. I mean, they're not, you know, he's going to have to do some repairs, but we're going to put it back on and get it ready for its trip to Victoria, where it's going to complete its final leg of the journey, because it's actually come a long way. So I guess we'll just show you how good it is and some of the areas where it's not so good. Sometimes I think I need a wide angle lens for this thing. I don't know if it zooms out, does it? Does it? No, it does not. Apparently it does not zoom out any further than this. Nothing like keeping it real, guys. Anyway, here it is. Fresh from blasting, is now completely naked. It is actually in grey Epitech, because Epitech, believe it or not, epoxy primer, comes in 2 colours. Actually, it might even come in 3 colours. I think it comes black, grey and green. Anyway, here it is in grey Epitech. Now, all the sins have been revealed. We have a incredibly straight front end. I mean, clearly it got a little bit worked over when somebody was removing the engine, because if you look at the gap of that, I bet you $1,000 that is the exact width of the pulley on the front of a Cleveland. Those 2 marks. Anyway, moving right along. It is horrifically straight. It's obviously been in a few little bingles, clearly because of that, and that's been around and straightened back up. Not heavily badly, but it's had a bit of a, you know, hell, it was upside down in the bush for 20 years. It's had a rough life. But really, it's not too bad. What else am I going to say about it? It's a big tag car on a twin tag shell. See, they were right on the changeover for when they were putting, they were doing the switch from 1 big tag to 2 smaller tags. So it's got the holes for the small tags as well as the big tag. Bit of just useless trivia you may never need. We got some rust coming through on that firewall lip. Pretty sad to say, that's actually pretty common these days, but that's pretty bad. Need some people to start making all of these sections. I know they make this piece and the lower section, that's probably better than the old stock, but some of these funky corner bits, because they're a bit of a pain to make. So we've got rust in the plenum, down the side, across there, right there as well. It's a hole here. That was a surprise, didn't see that one. That's new. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they were there and we didn't notice them. There's a bit of a bend in the pillar here from a previous accident. These holes you didn't see before. Nothing like a sandblaster to reveal all. Now, we knew about that because that was pretty bad, and clearly pretty chronic all through the back end and all the way along here. That's not great either. Anyway, luckily there are some talented people out there who make a lot of these sections. So yeah, she's a bit rough, a bit sad, and he's going to be very good at rust repair when he's finished this car. Floor pans, nearly perfect. There are some bit of rust in that seam there. That's pretty common actually. That's related to the aircon leaking and soaking under the floor there, but realistically the floor is clean as a whistle. You wouldn't believe that that's actually factory there, that stuff. We got a little bit of rust here. So yeah, she's certainly got some sins, that's for damn sure. And the floor's got a buckle over there. Yeah. But you know, is what it is. I'm pretty sure this was a bucket seat column shift car, because the factory, although they are rough with their cutting of the holes, are not that rough. I suspect, because when we were playing with this car originally, it had the neutral safety switch from an auto still plugged in, but it had a manual slave cylinder on the firewall, and it might have had manual pedals, I can't remember that bit, but clearly at some point in time somebody went, I'm going to make this car manual, and cut a hole in the floor and got rid of the auto. So somebody had some fun with it. I remember I put this on just to hold the pillar together, because without that, that was all that was holding it. I re-welded that. So literally from here to here, there's nothing holding it except that piece I stuck in just for quick safety measures. Wouldn't believe it. It was almost like it's got an original shock in the front of it. There's not really much else to say except it's looking, yeah, it's got rust, but it is a pretty clean slate. You won't be grinding off any surface rust, it's all gone. And oh, the torque boxes are amazing. There's an upside, although I think you'll be putting steel panels on this thing. But yes, any people out there who happen to have good cut sections for an XA or XB, XCs actually are a little bit different in the plenum chamber area, don't hesitate to sing out and offer them to Peter Hansen, because he's going to need them if you've got better sections than what this car's got, particularly up here. XCs are actually completely different in this top section, and another, you can pick up another XA moment, is because it doesn't have the extra brace that goes across here. They only turned up in the ends of XA. But, you know, some areas are good, some areas are bad, but all in all, if you wanted to start with a resto project, this is a pretty clean slate. There's nothing hiding, everything's exposed. You can buy this panel, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And I think you could even buy that in the lock catch. And I reckon you can buy this one. So from here all the way to the ground, you can actually buy the whole back of the car. So yeah, he's going to be good at fabricating when he's finished with this. I'm suggesting maybe he should buy a folder and a shrinker and stretcher. But yeah, it's still a factory V8 XA Fairmont sedan, which is not particularly common. Anyway, enough chit chat. Pity whack, give the dog a bone. We're going to put some of those panels that he got from over there. There's my brother's Fairlane. I don't think I've ever shown that on the channel, but yes, I painted that car several years ago now. That was a backyard paint job, and it still looks pretty good. New vinyl roof too. Supposedly the last dusk colour vinyl roof in Australia when that went on that car. I'll have a bit of a look at that car in a minute actually. It is kind of nice in a strange way. So yeah, I painted this car. I actually did a door shut respray and quick tidy up. I might have a bit of wind noise actually of this car. Gee, it might be 5 years ago now actually. It's starting to get a bit old. But this car was painted under this carport. That is off the gun paint job, no sanding, polishing or anything. It was a real quickie, and the car is not actually restored. It's still got a gajillion kilometers. It's like 450,000 k's on it or something, and I think the engine's still original somehow. So we put a vinyl roof on it, which looks amazing. That was done by Winners, I think. Look at that, that's a brand new dusk vinyl roof, only a couple of years old. So there was rust in the roof, fixed that, put a vinyl roof on it, and just gave the whole car a bit of a tidy up and a backyard paint job, and then my brother did that to it. Not on purpose, clearly, but you know, it is what it is. It's a 302, factory air, all the normal stuff. Unfortunately, the bonnet is starting to go again. It's got bubbles all over it. It's coming through like the middle of the bonnet, which is a real pain in the pooper. Because I remember when we did this, we got really nice guards, which are ridiculously hard to find, ZH Fairlane guards. Put a new nose cone on it, fixed the rust in the bonnet, but clearly it's rusting in another spot, which is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, it's just a tidy driver, but clearly it's looking a bit sad now under the carport. Now, it was a real quick tidy up, nothing flash, and it was all painted in bits and then reassembled. So she might not be the greatest paint job, but it was better than it was, and she was looking very sad, as you can imagine, a car with 400 gajillion kilometers on it. But you know, that's his car and he likes it. He's had it for a very long time too, actually. So over here are Peter's panels. We're going to put them back on. There's his boot lid. I don't think he's going to run that boot lid, but he might put that on his wall. So doors, the other doors are over there, and we'll get them on. Just thought I'd show the Fairlane because, you know, it is actually kind of nice. It's a nice driver, it drives nice, but we've got to put a fuel pump and fix a few little issues on it. That's why it's parked up. It has been for a couple of years. We did it and it drove around beautifully for 3 years, and then the fuel pump died. Put another one in it and it never was quite the same again. And it's got atomic EFI on it, so it's a fuel injected Clevo with one of those EFI kits on it, and when it's working, amazing, but the fuel pumps are a bit rubbish. So actually I want to show you the Landau in a second, so just bear with me 2 seconds. So this car is a bit of a mess at the moment because, well, we never did the engine bay because we weren't going to change the colour from factory, but then my brother said I want it blue, so the car ended up blue. If you go way back into some of my early videos, now I'm talking real early Rust Repair videos, I'm doing work on this car. So and I painted it white, turned out beautiful, and then my brother decided he didn't like polar white and he wanted it the same colour as his Raptor, so I think this is Blue Lightning or Lightning Blue. I can never remember which one's which. We had another mob do a light paint job on it, just basically scuff back the white and put the blue on it. You know those projects that take you 10 years to do? This is one of them. He's had this car for a long time and it's not urgently being done, but it is getting done slowly. But it's getting done to a reasonable standard. The seats are all redone. I don't know if I should pull that up, but can't have a look. Look at that. Look at that. I'll put that bag back on a second. Spencer's did that. Obviously the console's got to go. The kick panels are done. Rear door trims are done. The rear seats are done. All of the trim is being done in this car. Carpet's new. Obviously dashed in about 1,000 pieces. The problem is it's not my project, so I don't actually control how fast it gets done. So it is being done, but just not as quickly as I do my cars, because I live and breathe cars, and my brother is actually a train driver in Sydney. So if you catch a passenger train in Sydney, well, he's probably driving one of them. So yeah, and I didn't think we had the world's. We paid good money to have it painted, and I don't think the paint job was much better than what I could do, and I'm not a painter. But it looks nice. It's nice. It looked good without a vinyl roof too. So it's a beautiful colour when it's clean. The car is, well, I did all the rust and it was bad. This was a chronically bad Landau, just like the one I've just recently finished, and possibly worse than the XA I'm currently doing for the customer. So it's up there. This is a weird one though. This is the only coupe I've ever come across where I didn't have to do the rear wheel arches. They've never rusted out from the factory. Go figure. Rear quarters, back of the wings, the sill panels and rear wheel arches never rusted on this car. Couldn't believe it. Everything else though, totally stuffed. But I thought I'd show it off. This car has not seen the light of day on the channel for a very long time. So there it is, people. I know some people ask, but there it is. And it was running and driving and next week I will be putting the motor together, because the motor has been rebuilt, and well, it hasn't been rebuilt, it's been machined and all the work's done, so I've got to reassemble it and build it. Same as what I did with my engine in my XB, which turned out really good. That's a bit of yuck. Do love shiny new paint. I'll cover this back up. So this is going to go to the workshop, and see, this is Dad's handiwork. He's been slowly wire wheeling it, doing a good job. But we'll get it to the workshop and we'll do it a bit faster and get it done. It's not that bad. There's we got up some cracks in the engine bay where these things have got a big vacuum tank that mounts on the engine bay side, on the other side, and it vibrates over time. It cracks the engine bay. But yeah, we've got to clean it up, get all the white paint out there, and just give it a bit of a yeah, make it all pretty. Make it all pretty. So I've actually told Dad to be very careful and just tape up from the firewall back, bag the car, cloth the car, everything, and just try and keep the crap from here to a minimum on here. And he's doing a pretty damn good job. The shed in here is a little bit of a mess. So that's enough of this, enough of the Fairlane, and we'll go put some panels on the XA. Yeah, there we go. It's looking much better, much more like an XA. Except that bit. That bit looks crinkled. But it's looking a bit more complete. Now I'm going to push it back and across and over so I can do the other side. At least the front's good. The rest of it's a bit sad though. Yeah. Anyway, onward and upward. Alrighty, doors are on. Shutting and opening rather well. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah, that's the good stuff. Right, so that's on. I'm going to put the guard on. The other guard's on. I'm not going to put the boot lid on because I need a helping hand with that, and Dad is not here, so we will do that another day. I have another front bumper bar for Peter for when this goes to Victoria, and we'll shove the two bumper bar, the rear bar and the other front bar in the car, and we'll bolt the boot lid on another day, and we should be good to go. And then once Peter is all good at his end, I will contact my mate who has an awesome tow truck, and we will do the old switcheroo. But getting along quite nicely. This is probably the last, actually I'm not going to say probably, this is the last time you'll see this car on my channel, because the next time you see this pop up on the YouTubes, it will probably be in Peter Anderson's hands, and I think probably within the next 6 months, probably sooner than that. But yeah, so she's back together, she's blasted, she's had a roof on it, it's been recovered from the bush. Everybody's done their bit of this thing. It's got a hell of a story behind it, and yes, people did ask about it, and yes, it is still progressing. Obviously people still have to live lives and whatnot, but yes, the XA hasn't been forgotten, it's still progressing. And there it is, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next one.